Alright, so today we're going to take a look at how to adjust the hinges and this door system here, which is this is the older model. This is a pre-2018 hinge system for Zola. The very first thing you want to do when you come to a door and you want to adjust it is the first thing you do is come up to it and you want to make sure that when you close it, it doesn't have any kind of extra play in it whenever whenever you close it. So if there is, all you need to do is come over here to your latch system and use a Phillips screwdriver to release that, and you can set your latch distance for whatever is the optimal distance for your door depending on your situation. So whenever you close the door, it should, like I said, close without having any play in it. So that's nice and snug. So then from there we can move on to the next step. The next step is locking the door. So you've got this indicator right here, and what you want to do is turn the handle there. There's 1, 2. So you get about 2 1/4. The last quarter doesn't do anything. But when you're doing that, what that's doing is that's causing the sash of the door to pull tight to the frame. So you can get your compression happening, and that's how you get your air seal. So let's do that again. And if we do that, I'm going to put my finger right up here next to the frame and one finger on the sash. And as we're turning this, we should begin to feel some of the compression from the sash closing in on the frame. And if you don't, well, then we can adjust that so that you get a little bit more action happening there. To do that, we come over here. And at each one of the locking hooks that comes out of your door when you're turning that knob, there's going to be a hook, and it's going to come down into these guys. You can simply aim this a little bit towards the exterior, and that should give us a little bit more compression on our door so that we begin to feel some of that compression transferring. And lower all these a little bit. There we go. Bring that one just to the exterior, just a tiny bit. Okay, we'll close that. We'll try that again really quick. So there's 1 turn, 1.5, 2 turns. I definitely feel it compressing, and I don't have any kind of resistance in the thumb turn, so that's exactly where you want to be. If your thumb turn gets to be too difficult, then you need to let some of that relax, those receivers. Put them more towards the interior so that they're not compressing the door so much. So the other adjustments we can do on this door are, one is going to be raise the door up and down, and another adjustment we can do is actually control the amount of compression that we put on each one of these hinges by allowing the hinges to be either out or in. And another adjustment that we can do is actually move the door laterally back and forth. So let's start by just trying to move the door up and down. To do that, what we're going to do is actually de-weight the door a little bit. So if you are using the adjustment screw to move the door up or down, that's all the weight of the door on one little screw. So you want to de-weight the door so that you don't strip that screw out. In this case, we're going to use these air shims. Put these up underneath here, just to take a little weight off the door. And with a 4mm Allen wrench, we're going to come over here and we're going to loosen up our clamping screws. So we have 3 screws here. The top and the bottom are your clamping screws. Your middle screws are your adjustment. There's 1 hinge, which is always the second one down from the top, that has an H on it. I don't know if you can see that right there, but there's an H. Think of the H as your height adjustment. So in order to adjust the height, we're going to loosen up the top and the bottom on every one of the hinges. remember, the height is only controlled at this one hinge that has an H on it. If you can't see the H, it might be because there's hinge caps on it. You can simply remove the hinge caps from the tops so that you can reveal the letters. Notice up here there's an A at either one of those locations, and all the other hinges will have A's except for this one right here. So now to make the adjustment, we're going to, actually that one took us down, we're actually going to go up a little bit. There we go. And then once we have reached the location we want to be at, we'll go ahead and tighten down those clamping screws again, so that way we don't slip. The other hinges, the ones with the A, can actually control the compression. So the adjustment screw is the same. It's going to be the center one. And since our top and bottom screws are already loosened, I can adjust that in and out. You can see how much movement we get when we adjust that screw. I'm just moving back and forth so you can see the amount of adjustment. There's quite a bit of space in there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it in so it's a little tighter. And about there is where we want to be. Go ahead and tighten this top clamping screw down. And then your next one is going to be the bottom one. It's the same situation. We've already loosened our clamping screws at the top and bottom. So now we can adjust the bottom hinge in or out, just like we did at the other one. So we're going to go to right about here is where we want to be. I'm going to tighten that one down. And because this door has more than 3 hinges, the extra hinge is the second one up from the bottom, which is right here. This hinge does not have any adjustment screw inside. It'll just relaxes to the middle position between the hinges above and below it. So at this point, there's nothing to adjust, so we simply tighten down the clamping screws. The next adjustment we're going to make on this is going to move the door laterally either towards the strike or towards the hinge. To do that, I'll take a 4mm again, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to come over here, and you can see in our hinge system here, there's these 2 screws here. These are the clamping screws for our lateral adjustment. So we loosen these, and every hinge will have this. And then, if you can look all the way back inside here, there's the gold screw. I don't know if you can see that through in the video. And what we're going to do is take a 4mm Allen in there, and you can give that a couple turns. Let me grab a different one. Now, when I make those adjustments, the best thing to do is usually make a line right here where you're starting from, which is, there's already a line there from a previous adjustment. And that way you can see if your door sash is actually sliding away from the line or sliding towards it. Get in here. Sometimes it can be difficult to see. And it takes a few turns just to start getting any kind of movement. All right, so now I've got movement. You go ahead and look here, and you'll be able to see the door sash sliding towards the hinge. Once you're done making your adjustments, retighten your clamping screws and recheck your door, starting at step 1. No play. There's 1, 2. I can feel the compression starting to come in play. And when I open the door, everything is operating smoothly. You're not hitting anywhere. Everything feels snug.